falls, and these days I say to myself, and I'm saying very convincing, I say to myself, Joshuanette, you worked so hard, you deserve to treat yourself. And then you're treating yourself, come boom, I spent $500, and you're like, how right? Hi guys, welcome to the flip side of Joshuanette's world. Over here we talk about finance, lucrative lifestyle choices, investment, and personal development. In today's video, we are going to be talking about savings. I wish somebody had this conversation with me when I started my second job 4 years ago. I wish somebody was saying this to me when I actually started my first job. May's gonna make 6 years. I wish somebody was saying to me, save your money. So I grew up in the Seventh-day Adventist church, and they always said when you work you pay 10% of your salary to tithe and offering, but nobody was there to tell me, Joshuanette, you need to have different savings account. And nobody told me like the things that I'm going to share with you about the importance of saving and how to save. And the idea that saving is one broad thing is actually incorrect, because we need to save for different things. So I have a retirement plan, and that is with my insurance, so I pay a bit more. So I don't even think it's a bit. My retirement plan is probably 3 times the amount that I pay for my regular insurance, because when I get to 60, I want to cash out and have some money to live on. So I'm putting money into a fund so that when I retire, I'm not dead broke, or I don't have to work until I'm 70 or work until I die. So there's that type of savings we're going to save for retirement. And then I need to save for vacations. And then if I want to upgrade to a new phone, I need to save for that. And then I need to have a general savings for stuff like a pandemic happened. We were off of work for months. So like one of my goals is I want to get to the place where I have 6 months salary saved. And when I say this, people are like, how? I'm like, obviously we're not going to just save all our money that we work for. But what we're going to do, we're going to put things in place to put some money aside and put some money aside and put some money aside, so that I can get to having 6 months salary in a savings just in case life happens. So I know that was a lot to digest, but we are going to go into 10 things that we all should think about when we're going down this road of saving money. So before we get into it, I just want to give you this quote. It says, don't save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. Like, when I read this quote, I'm like, it is so true. There is a video that I have coming out on budgeting, and saving is included in my budget. As I said, like nobody said to me, like they always said, take 10% of your salary to pay tithes and offering, but nobody was there to say, save 5% of your salary, save for rainy days. Nobody had the conversation about the different savings account. And I'm just saying to you, somebody needs to say it. So the first thing that we are going to consider when we're going to save is putting it into our budget. Like when we budget, and again, nobody taught me how to budget. I thought I put down food, water, groceries, and you list it out. But nobody said like when you budget, you shouldn't have money remaining. Your budget should go to zero, because your budget should encompass your entire salary. And if you have a surplus, you are actually not budgeting correctly. Budgeting is a whole other conversation. We will have that on another day. However, you should know that when we're planning to save, it goes into your budget. Number 2, we're gonna put it in the plan. It's now a part of my plan. I want to get to the place where I have retirement, I have savings for life happenings, and I have savings because I currently have a iPhone 8 Plus. I want to upgrade to a new phone, but I just can't randomly like I used to do before. I get paid and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy a phone today. Like, no, I want to save towards it. I want to put a time span on it. I want to put things in place differently. I want to budget better, and with budgeting better, it comes with planning better. It comes with just putting things down on paper, and it's something that you should also consider when you are thinking about saving. 3, we're gonna start small. I am a believer that if you make $2, $200, $2,000, $200,000 or $2 million, you have the ability to save. Start small. If you save with 2 cents, 2 and 2 is 4. If you're saving $2, 2 and 2 is 4. If you're saving $10, there's no way that we can work. And again, I am guilty. I have had months, maybe years, where I worked and I spent all of my money and I didn't save. And I, to this day, regret some of those decisions that I've made, some of the clothes that I've purchased, some of the food that I've eaten, some of the places that I've gone. And I'm like, so you've done all that, but you don't have a savings, Joshuanette? You really need to do better. You need to do better. So I'm saying to you, we're going to start small. A lot of time we want to see $2,000, $3,000, but sometimes it starts with us saving $100. So for 2021, even in the middle of a pandemic, you can set a goal. At the end of the year, I want to have $500. I want to have $600. Because if we were to divide the year into 12 and we were to save $100 per month, that would be $1,200. So we say, we're not going to save $100. We're going to save $50 per month. At the end of the year, you can pat yourself on the back and say, I saved $600 this year. That is a stepping stone. That is starting small, and small things always lead to really big results. We're going to talk about number 5. I'm just going to give you 3 ways to save. If you do not have the app Pinterest, you should definitely download that app, because girl, you are missing out on the good life. There are hundreds, probably thousands of ways that you can tap into saving. So my top 3 are by direct debit. So once you get paid, that money is going to be taken from your salary and sent to a particular account. The credit unions are famous for this, with individuals who have a loan. Automatically they have to save. But even if you're not with a credit union, because my loan, I'm not with a credit union, but I have set up things in place that once I pay every month, a part of that automatically, like I have no control over that, goes into that escrow account, and there is no way of getting that money, because you have to put things in place. Like after paying a loan for 20 years, 15 years, 30 years, 30 years for a mortgage, 30 years, and not having any money is a bit disheartening. So again, putting that $50 aside, $100 aside, I'm telling you, it adds up when you add those years on it. So I'm saying to anybody, like, once you decide to save, direct deposit, direct debit is one way to go. If we're not going to do that, we're going to do a box. So again, that's a whole other video, because there are many complications with it, and I've learned that the hard way from COVID. But with a box, what happens, collectively we come together and we pool a particular amount of money every time we get paid, and then on that pay period or within that time span, someone collects, and it has moved for generations. Like in the Caribbean, it's a thing. Boxes have built houses, it has paid for medical expenses, it has sent children to school, it has worked before, and it will work again. Another innovative way is by not getting the piggy banks that you buy that look like a piggy bank, but maybe getting a box that you decorate nicely and you just slip the money into it. Or if you're a wine drinker, you get a wine bottle and you put some money into it, so you can put the money in an envelope. Like I'm saying to you, like I saw a pin where you had number 1 to 52, and every day you put in that amount of money. So if you pick up the $1, you put in $1, you put in $50, and that is a way to save. There are many creative and many innovative ways. We're gonna start small, and then we're gonna find a method that works best for us. And remember, our savings isn't for us to go spend it next month. It is a long-term goal. Number 5, piggybacking from number 4, is we're going to use the 30-day rule. When we see something or we want something and we're saying we're going to buy it, we're going to apply the 30-day rule to this. Do I really need to touch my savings for this, or can it wait? Life happens, and I'm not saying to you to have money at the bank and you get sick and not go get it to go to the doctor. I am not saying to have money on the bank and then something happens that is an emergency and you not go get that money. But many times that we think that things are important, they're actually not as important, and we need to apply the 30-day rule. Like, do I really need to touch my savings? Like, do I really? Like, apply that rule. And if you recognize that, yes, I need to touch my savings, then definitely touch your savings. Number 6, when we're talking about savings, we're going to talk about reducing our expenses. Like, I love powerful women. I love women who are making an impact. I love women who share their stories. And this one coworker, we're in the middle of a professional development, and she stands up and she says, like, when we decide to save, it comes with a sacrifice. You have to put things into perspective. And sometimes as we get older, and I can speak for myself too, after you would have made some decisions like getting a mortgage, getting a car, buying land, having children, going to study, it's really hard for us to save at that point. I said hard, not impossible, because we've allocated our salaries to doing all the things. So sometimes in order for us to save, and this is why it's tip number 6, we have to reduce our expenses. So we need to downgrade our phone plan. We need to look at our food budget. Maybe there's stuff that we just don't buy. I was in another professional development, and this lady said that her husband and her, they made the decision that, we're not going to go on any date this year. We're going to go to the beach. We're going to go walking. We're going to do stuff that are not going to cost us any money because we want to save more. And that is like inspirational. Like, although it seems like there's no way, there's always a way. We're gonna reduce our expenses. So we're gonna reduce our phone bill. We're gonna cancel some subscriptions. We're going to just be like, I know, again, I'm shutting myself hard. We're gonna stop treating ourselves. And let's just call that point number 7, because that needs to be a point on its own. And I will say to you, for someone who has 2 full-time jobs, so not last season, the season before COVID, when I was promoted to being a supervisor, I work 5 days with the government. So I work Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 1:30. And then my second job as a supervisor, you are required to work 96 hours, just say 100 hours within your 2 weeks time span. So you work 6 days a week. That means I have 3 days where I work half a day. And ironically, they're only few and far between where my day off from my second job would fall either on a Saturday or a Sunday. So when my day off falls on these days, I say to myself, and I'm saying very convincing, I say to myself, Joshua, you worked so hard. You deserve to treat yourself. And then you're treating yourself. Come, boom, I spent $500. And you're like, how? My friend and I were having this conversation. It was his birthday and we're laughing. I'm like, when you have 2 jobs, because he also got a second job. And he's like, Joshuanette, when it's time to go out, you're like, boom, I spent $1,000 over the weekend. Like, what? Like, and then I'm saying to you, you have convinced yourself that you deserve to be treated. You work hard, or you finally pass this exam and you're like, I deserve this treat, and the treats are never $2. I'm saying to you, again, I was in the conversation, and I'm actually going to do a video about it, because I was saying, like, I'm saying to you, nobody said this to me. Stop treating yourself, Joshuanette. When I decided that I was gonna leave Antigua and Barbuda to go see the knee specialist in Atlanta, you can actually watch the entire video in the card, the entire playlist, and my actually diagnostic story in the cards above. And I said to myself on my trip, Joshuanette, you haven't had a real vacation. You deserve it. And every time I spent money, I said that to myself, Joshuanette, treat yourself. You deserve it. You've been working hard. You deserve it. And I'm saying to you that treat yourself speech is a trap. It is a trap. Sometimes in order for us to save, we have to stop treating ourselves, because girl, like when I want something, like even thinking about, like I was thinking about it, like the bills. And I'm saying to you, I had a trip in January when I did my visa. I had a trip in November, and then I had a trip the other January with my other half. And every time I went on these trips and I was spending money, I said to myself, Joshua, you deserve it. You've been working hard. You remember all those nights. You remember no day off. And I would say to myself, you deserve it. I deserve a treat. But the treat can be going to the beach. The treat can be a $4 ice cream. The treat doesn't need to be $5, $6, $7, $1,000. And you're like, what? And I'm saying to you, when we're talking about savings, we're gonna stop treating ourselves to these lavish things that we think that we deserve. Number 8, we're gonna consolidate our debt. So I actually did that. So again, I consolidated my debt once, and then I acquired more debt, and then I had to consolidate that debt. Like, I've made some really good financial decisions over the years, and I've made some really bad ones. And this here, I'm gonna expose all the business. I'm gonna tell you guys all about it, because I want somebody to learn. Like, there's good debt, and then there's bad debt, and then there is debt that you just should have never gotten. But a good way to definitely get your savings in check is by consolidating your debt. So instead of spending your money across several different interest rates and all of these things, we are going to consolidate our debt. 9, we are going to plan when we go to the supermarket. So it sounds frugal. It sounds like it's not a way to save, but I'll say to you, if you put a list down and we stick to that list, again, if we're cutting back on our food budget, cutting back instead of just picking up random things, we're gonna plan out our supermarket visits, and it's also gonna save us some money. And I'm just gonna say it, a lot of us, when we go to the supermarket, we're so exhausted from buying the food that we end up buying food on the road to go home because we don't want to cook the food. So we need to plan out our lives a little better. Like, literally, maybe we need to cook at home first and then go to the supermarket. Because sometimes what happens is, and again, I'm talking to myself, you get so exhausted after you leave the supermarket. You're like, oh my God, I'm just gonna get some Kentucky. I'm just gonna get some food on the road, because then you're too tired to go home to cook. So we're gonna plan better, because obviously we have some saving targets that we want to hit. 10, a way to save is by tracking each dollar. If you watch my video on planning and you saw my stack of books, I'm saying to you, I have OCD. I love to know how every dollar is spent. So I will write down $6. Like, literally, tracking your dollars will also assist with you saving your money, with us hitting those targets, getting a retirement, getting a new phone, getting to 6 months salary saved. So we're gonna track our dollar, because if we know where money is leaking out, we can do something about it. But if we don't know where the money is leaking out from, we cannot do anything about it. And then number 11, the bonus tip is to go with tip number 9. We're not gonna be eating out anymore, and we're gonna go on cheaper dates. Like, eating out can take up our money. I know, I love it. Like I'm saying to you, like, when season is on, I'm not gonna cook my porridge at home. I'm just gonna go down the road and buy it for $6. So the porridge people know me. They know me now. Like, so I pull up and they're like, you want arrowroot today? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, I saved your porridge. I'm like, yes. And that's because I go there every day. So instead of cooking my porridge at home, I get food on the road. And my rationale is I'm too tired. And I'm saying to you, when you learn to cook your porridge, so I've been cooking my porridge at home. So I've been cooking custard and cream of wheat at home using my to-go cup that I bought in 2019 that I never used, because again, your girl just buys a lot of stuff that she didn't use. So now that I'm using this to-go cup, you actually see it in my hiking videos, the little pink cup that I have. Like, I never used it. So now I'm cooking my porridge at home. I am packing my lunch kit because I'm training myself hard and long, like, to stop eating out, because eating out really does, like, when you add it up, it literally, like, mind blown. Like, $6 for porridge, $10 for lunch, $20 for dinner. So in one day you're already spending $36. And then I used to buy my water on the road, so that was $5, but now I fill my water bottle. I'm just saying, there are ways for us to save, and there are many things that we think that we need that we don't really need, and there are ways to, I'm saying to you, there are ways to save. Like, again, a very frugal example where you just say it's $5. Those $5 add up. I used to buy my water bottle, my water to go to school on the road, and it's $5 every day. I go to school 5 days a week. That's $25. Like, $25 per week on water. Whereas if I refill my bottle at home, the 15 gallon is $10. Like, and I can fill my water every day for school and still have remainder for the next week, because, like, I'm saying to you, like, when you start to think about not just the $50, but the $5 spends, the $2 spends, I'm saying to you, your perspective on saving will change. You're going to be able to hit those targets. We're going to be able to put money into retirement. We're going to be able to put money into having a vacation. We're going to be able to put money into getting, I want to get to 6 months salary, and you should have 6 months salary too, because COVID-19 has really taught us that, you know, nothing lasts forever. Guys, thank you very much for watching today's video. Leave a comment below with any tip that you have, or anything that you want to tell me about saving, or if you have experienced the same things that I have, where we're buying water, buying porridge, or we're having these, according to young people, braffing moments because we're treating ourselves. And thank you for subscribing. Share this video with a friend, and until the next one, bye.